American workforce has seen productivity declines 5 straight quarters. 5 straight quarters in a row, we've seen the American worker productivity decline. Economists that measure this stuff, they've been reporting this. You combine that with the fact that we've got a historically low rate of productivity in the workforce, and now we're 5 quarters in a row. You can't just overlook that and just think, well, people don't want to work for a leader. No, let me tell you something. The fact that the data is saying that we're sleeping less and getting worse sleep than ever, combining with American worker productivity, folks, that's a legitimate connection. So, how do we take this little novel idea here of going, an afternoon nap is no longer just for kindergartners? I don't even know if they allow that anymore. By the way, back in the day, okay? And I know I'm older than a lot of you youngsters that listen and watch this show, and that's fine. I have to deal with this. I have to come to grips with the fact that I'm middle-aged. Well, back in my day, let's go about 1979, 1980 for you historians out there. When I went to kindergarten, we didn't go a half day. We went a full-length day. Can you imagine? But we took naps in kindergarten. They turned the lights off in the room, and the teacher sat there and watched us kids, and you had to be quiet. You got in trouble for talking. And you lay down on a little mat. It was probably about 2 inches thick. You took a nap. Well, you couldn't do that in today's world, but that's what we did. It was like it was like 15 or 20 kindergartners laying on the floor sleeping. Fantastic idea. All right. So before we get to the nap and the power of the nap and how to do the nap, let's also just remind you that the nap is not going to be as effective as it could be if you're not getting the proper sleep, 8 to 9 hours a night. All right, so let's assume right now for this discussion that you're getting 8 to 9 hours of quality sleep, not in the bed 8 to 9 hours, okay, for an hour and a half watching Netflix. No, you're sleeping for 8 to 9 hours, your rhythm is good, and you've got all the symptoms, you see it. So let's assume we've got a good night's sleep, and now our body's natural rhythm is downshifting in the afternoon, and so we just need to know, there's nothing wrong with us. This is our natural rhythm. So what do? Okay, a nap is really, really effective way to do this. Here's what you shouldn't do, though. Just call this out and we'll move on. Sugar and carbs, like loading up on sugar and carbs at lunch, is going to actually increase the rate at which you crash. Okay, not just, if we're not talking about early, we're just like, boom, right? It's not a gradual slowdown, which is what it should be. It's a, holy cow, it's 3 o'clock, and all I can think about is taking a nap or going to bed. That's not good, all right? So, what is the right amount of time for a nap? Well, 20 to 30 minutes, according to the experts, is the max. Okay? So ideally, 20 to 30 minutes is your max, but you could do as much as 10, 15 minutes. And we're talking like actual sleep time. Okay? Also, the optimal time is between 2 to 3 p.m. So between 2 to 3 p.m., if you can take somewhere between a 15 to 25 to 30-minute nap, that's best for your body. And it's literally like these electric cars that you see out everywhere where they just came into the parking spot and they plug in. And think of yourself as you're just getting a boost and you're plugging some energy in between 2 and 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And we're talking, let's say, 15 to 30 minutes. It's unbelievable. Okay? What does it do for you? Okay? It will boost your memory. So your cognitive, it's just like, my memory's going to be better. My cognitive responses are going to be sharper. It lifts your mood, can change your mood. Makes you more alert. Again, that's a cognitive response. And it actually allows you to ease stress. All from a 15 to 20 minute nap. Now, this is not widely accepted in America. If you look overseas, I wanted to do some research on this and go, okay, where does napping fall? And I think everybody's thinking what I'm thinking. First thing I thought was Spain. I've never been to Spain. I want to go to Spain Because from what I'm told, and I do the research on this, and I think this is true, the famous Spanish siesta is a national thing. It's a part of the culture. And they take it typically at the hottest part of the day, after the biggest meal. Now, the major cities of Spain, this is not like a thing where everybody's doing it, but as you get outside of the major cities of Spain, apparently it is still a thing. A national nap, if you will. In Japan, the concept of inimuri, or napping while present, is popular and even considered somewhat of a status symbol. Now, this is whacked out, but I'll tell you what they do. The idea is, if you're so tired that you got to take a nap at work, it is a status symbol because it tells everybody else, I'm working so hard I need a nap. And people will literally take a nap at their desk. Little pillow, drop their head down, kind of stuff you got in trouble for in high school in America. You know what I mean? You know, the old, I'm going to put my head on my forearms and hope that I used to love to sit behind a tall guy. You know what I'm talking about? And you feel like you can hide. And you feel like the teacher can't see you and you're just gonzo. I mean, you're out drooling on the desk. It's disgusting, right? Wake you up and you're like, you know, it's one of those deals, you know? That's the Japanese thing. It's kind of a status symbol. Now, this is not a country example, but this is a company in India has actually gone out and said, needs to be a thing. It's a startup, so we'll see how they do. But they coined the term, the right to nap. And they give employees from 2 o'clock to 2:30 every day to catch some Z's. I think it's worth trying, companies. I really do. But this is going to make a lot of leaders really uncomfortable. Now, some of you are going, Ken, how in the world do I do this? I'm coming. I'm getting there. But I wanted you to see that this is a cultural thing in many countries. And now you got a company in India going, from 2 to 2:30, you can catch your Z's. Begs the question if there's a bunch of snuggies around. You know, do they have like quiet rooms, you know, where everybody's in there snoring? It's not quiet when you get 3 or 4 dudes in there. You know, that's terrible. And by the way, one famous example, Winston Churchill didn't really do it by the book. He took about an hour nap every afternoon. The experts say 20 to 30 minutes is about right. But he would work from 8 o'clock in the morning until midnight, sometimes even past midnight, staying up, obviously an extraordinary time. But Winston Churchill, even while running a country in a wartime, found time to take a nap. So it's fascinating stuff. Now, so I started thinking through this. All right, so I'm going to make the case that we all need to be napping, including me. So I started thinking about, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? Okay. So I haven't figured it out yet. So I'm not going to sit here and act like some big shot who's figured it all out, right? But if somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes, you know, is 15 maybe the minimum, 30 the max, because after you sleep more than 30 minutes, now you're groggy. And so even if you wake up a little bit, the effects are supposedly pretty fantastic if you keep going. So I had a thought. Most people get an hour for lunch. All right? Here's the deal. I get an hour for lunch if I want it. Anybody who knows me will tell you I've never taken an hour for lunch. Not one time in the 9 years I've been at Ramsey. I just don't. I'll go in the cafeteria after today's show, and I might eat for 15 to 20 minutes. And I'm looking at news, or maybe I'm eating with somebody. But, I mean, I'm not taking an hour. So if I need to get somewhere between a 15 to 30-minute nap, I'll tell you what I'm doing. Certainly in the summertime. All right? I'm going to get one of those obnoxious shades, you know, that keeps your dashboard from getting overheated and cracked. I'm going to slap that bad boy in there in the car. I'm going to turn the AC on and maybe some classical music on Sirius XM channel 76. I'm out, baby. I'm in the car. Gonzo. It's my lunch hour. Now, I can do it at 2 o'clock. So I take a 30-minute lunch at normal time. And at 2 o'clock, I'm going to go out and grab 20 minutes of Z's. It is possible. But we're not ready yet in America to take it to your leader and go, can I take a nap?